everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to make a fun Christmas arrangement out of the cutest container. So I was at Aldi and I picked up this container and it had a calancho in it, which is a blooming plant, which was precious, mind you. But the reason I chose it is I would like to give this as a gift. And it is a really sweet ceramic container that I'm going to add fresh flowers to. Now, if you have watched any of my videos or watched them for quite a while, you will know I like to look for containers that aren't necessarily meant for flowers. And to me, that is the most fun to design in a container that's different. So I'm going to take my little Santa. He is a ceramic container. He does not have holes in the bottom. And I am going to add some fresh floral foam to my container. So I'm just going to, it has been soaked. I'm just pressing that floral foam right down into that container. I'm going to take my floral knife and I'm going to trim that foam up. Now be sure to soak your floral foam first. It needs to be wet, and when you put it into a container, be sure you have a large enough reservoir that will hold the water so that you can fill that up and it will last so much longer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some really pretty greenery, and add it to my container. So I have magnolia, just a southern magnolia. We have some, let's see, seeded eucalyptus, and then some evergreens. This is a type of cypress. So I am going to take, I think let's take our cypress first. I am going to break that stem and press it right into my floral foam. I'm going to set these to the side here. I like to break these pieces just into smaller pieces and just press those right into that floral foam. And I like to just go all the way around. Now listen, guys, you do not have to buy flowers. You don't have to buy greenery. You can absolutely, I was going to see if I had any snips, but I don't see any. You can absolutely go out and harvest that greenery from your yard. So if you have any evergreens in your yard, go out and cut them. Don't feel like you have to buy them from the store. You can absolutely go cut them. So I'm just taking some of these larger pieces and cutting those off. I'm going to save this because all of these smaller pieces we can absolutely use for corsages or flowers to wear. I'm going to take these little pieces and strip off the bottom pieces, and I'm going to press that right down into my floral foam. Strip off that bottom stem, press it into your foam. Now the one thing that is the most important at keeping your arrangement fresher for longer is water. It's so important, and I think a lot of times when we give a gift of fresh flowers, we don't think to tell them to be sure to add water daily. If they will water their arrangement daily, their flowers will last so much longer. And a lot of times when an arrangement is placed in a container like this and they don't see the water line, it's hard to even remember that they need water. All right, there is our evergreens. Next, I'm going to come in with a little bit of this magnolia. So I'm going to take this magnolia and I'm going to, it's really nice. This has several little branches that are shooting off. So I'm going to take my branches and cut them smaller and nestle that magnolia in. Now I love magnolia, especially in the wintertime. It's such a wonderful evergreen to be able to use in your arrangements. Now you can even take just the individual leaves just like this, trim off that bottom stem, press those right down into that floral foam. And I tell you, magnolia makes a really great impact too, especially like on an altar for a church, or it just really is so pretty and very, very long lasting. So it's kind of fun to use. Okay, so there is our magnolia. Okay, so there's our magnolia. Next, we're going to come in with a little seeded eucalyptus. So I love eucalyptus. I love all the varieties. I'm not really a picky person when it comes to eucalyptus. So I'm going to take it and break it into smaller pieces. And I love these pretty green berries that are on this seeded eucalyptus. So I'm just going to come all the way around my container with just a pop of eucalyptus. Okay, so we are greened out. Our container has all the greenery. Okay, so we're completely greened out. Look how pretty it is already. Now you could add a few pine cones into this, maybe a few little sticks out of your yard. Perfect. Even some red berries. If you have nandina berries, they would be lovely, or holly berries, they would be lovely. And you could call this arrangement finished. I am going to add a few flowers to our arrangement. So I have some really pretty white hydrangeas here. Here at Flowers by the Bunch, I like to leave these little plastic sleeves on them because they just last longer. They just don't get bumped or bruised in the cooler quite as much if you leave the sleeves on them. I'm taking my floral knife and I'm cutting that stem at an angle. Now most of the time I would use quick dip, but I don't have any in here. So I'm just going to take that stem and press it right down into that floral foam. And I broke just a little bit off. I didn't mean to when I was pressing it in. I'm going to take a second bloom. I'm removing the leaves, cutting that stem at an angle, and pressing that flower right down into that foam. Look how pretty those white hydrangeas. And then I'm going to take a third and come on the opposite side. Press him right down in. Okay, so there's our beautiful hydrangeas. Making sure I have his face facing you. Okay, next we are going to come in with some rumex. Rumex is, I think it's probably seed, like a type of grass seed. It reminds me a lot of a type of millet, but it is beautiful. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut the stem in a couple of pieces. I love this lime green color. And y'all, it's very long lasting. So I'm going to just take a couple of pieces of that rumex. I'm going to tuck that in to give us a little movement, kind of some whimsy. See how it kind of moves and it's fun. A little bit of whimsy. See how much fun that rumex is. And I'm going to take a second stem. And I like it when you have a long stem that you can cut apart. It's always nice to be able to use it in two different places in your arrangement. It goes further, doesn't it? All right, so how fun is that? That to me is so fun. I have never worked with it before. We actually just got it in from Budsy, and I have been thrilled with it. I am definitely going to order it again because I do love it. It's always fun when you get something new. It's just exciting. So these are red roses. This is a red freedom rose. It has already been wired. Callie wired it for me. I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, and press that pretty red rose in there. Actually, let's see, I've got a few more stems that have not been wired, so let me grab a little piece of wire. Now the reason I like to wire roses, especially when they are in floral foam, is because they sometimes will get dehydrated and their little heads will dip. So I like to add a piece of wire to my roses. So I press it right there in the calyx and I just wrap it right around the stem. Now we wire all our roses here at Flowers by the Bunch. Not if they're just going in foam. I wire all of them. And I know some people don't love that, but for me, it's just extra insurance. I really like to make sure that those stems are going to stay upright and pretty. And that's just that guarantee that they will. Now you could certainly add ribbon. If you wanted to add some ribbon to this arrangement, you absolutely could. I'm not going to add any ribbon today, but if you would like to, you certainly can. You can make it work. This one's wired. You can make this work for any decoration that you have in your home. So if you needed like a centerpiece of some type, you could certainly do this and add the ribbon that matches your decor. It would be so fun. Next, we're going to come in with some hypericum berries. So hypericum berries are also called coffee berries. They come in lots of colors, a green and a white, a red, a peach, a pink, so many pretty colors. Another thing about them that's wonderful though is that you can paint them. They very easily paint, and you can just use regular store paint on berries and foliage. So if you had some gold paint and you wanted to add gold accents, pop those berries gold. If you needed them to be maroon, you can hit them a maroon color. Really, you can make it work for any occasion or any need that you might have. Now sometimes the berries have leaves on them. Sometimes the leaves don't always look pretty. If they don't pull them off, the berry is still very good. So if the foliage doesn't look pretty, pull that off. Now, if you are lucky enough to have some pretty holly berries in your yard, use them. Do not go and buy berries if you have some pretty holly berries in your yard. Or nandina berries, you could absolutely use. Nandina would be very pretty in an arrangement. So any type of berries would be perfect, okay? So to finish off this arrangement, I have some silver dollar eucalyptus that I'm going to pop in. And really, with this type of arrangement, you are going to add as much or as little as you would like. You can certainly add some ornaments, put a little pick on those ornaments and tuck those in. Pine cones, it's really all your preference. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. I also love to go to thrift stores and thrift fun old containers that someone has decided they don't want anymore, and add pretty flowers to those. Just so fun. Like cookie jars are fun too. But just use anything that'll hold water and add some fresh Christmas greens to it, and you have a precious Christmas arrangement. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. Be sure to drop it here into the comments, send me an email, or just call the flower shop. I'm so happy to answer any questions you might have. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up or a heart. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right down below, and if you'll hit the bell, you'll get notifications for when we have a brand new video. Thanks guys, we'll see you soon.